So this basically is an oval that about the size of Robin's shield, Sir Robin's shield. I'm currently getting ready to Dremel the slits in it. I've already cut out the hole and the shield so that it makes it so that it'll be easier to set and handle, and I'll be able to basically just put the handle in with the Dremel. I got this measured down to 1 inch so that it'll go 1 inch into the 2-inch foam. The lines are basically for me to run over with the Dremel tools so that I can see where I'm going in a straight line. I have it marked about 4 inches out so that I'm not taking the core too close to because you have to have at least 1 inch. I want to make sure that it's a little bit over that, and this helps reduce weight too. Because if you take it too close, there's more core, more weight. Side done. Alright, the reason why these holes are so thick is because I'm actually inlaying a PVC handle so that it'll, when the Gorilla Glue fills, we're using Gorilla Glue to set the handle, and when it fills it'll expand and keep it in there, but I need the room so that the Gorilla Glue can grab the PVC handle.
Okay.
Alright, I'm going to make grooves now so that the Gorilla Glue will be able to stabilize the handle. And on the other side, just using a quick reference. Nothing too crazy. need when the Gorilla Glue fills in, so that your shield won't buckle.
Good.
Alright, so this right here in my hands is a PVC handle that I'm going to be using for this. It's actually really thick PVC. It is, I want to say Schedule 80, Schedule 40 PVC. This is actually going to sit in here pretty nicely. The person that I'm making this for actually requested bigger handles, so this is how I'm solving that issue. But I'm capping the ends right now with some tape, so that when I go to Gorilla Glue it, the Gorilla Glue will not go into, it's water expanding Gorilla Glue, it will not go into the PVC itself.
Why do you do that?
If I don't do this, it will go into the handle and make it absurdly heavy, and instead of shooting out and filling all the gaps, it'll go into the PVC, and then it possibly will not fill the gaps that I'm wanting it to fill. I'm currently going to torque wrap this a little bit to get this on there so that it stays. That way it makes a nice tight seal. And then you can hear how taut that is on there. Kind of makes a drum sound. It's kind of funny. And then when I do this, so I'm going to do this to the other side, so that again the Gorilla Glue will not go into the handle. This is like a 19 3/4 inch long handle. Most of the time when I'm doing a small punch, you don't need this much. But if you're doing a bigger oval type shield like this, you have to have a little bit more to play with so that it stabilizes itself. With that, now I can torque wrap this down again. Yep, and it is solid on there. So now I'm going to actually wet this whole thing, and probably the handle too. And then I'm going to use the Gorilla Glue. That is water expanding, I believe. Yeah.
Show it.
To allow the shield to set. I'm also going to be taking some of my D&D books. Yes, I play D&D. No, I'm not usually the DM. So don't ask. Right now, I'm going to grab some water and a brush of some sort.
What do you do with the D&D books?
Oh, I take some sort of cling wrap. Any kind of wrap works as long as it's tight enough that it stays on there, so that the books don't get damaged. I have found that if you don't stack the books high enough before you saran wrap them, that the Gorilla Glue will climb and damage your books. So for all you readers out there or D&D fans, you might want to think twice before using two little books. So now I'm using a brush to put water into the crevices, because again I have water expanding Gorilla Glue and I want it to expand. So you put water in it. And then once I do that, I'll actually have to have my beautiful assistant here pause the video because I need to saran wrap some books. Alright, so now I'm doing this again. Actually putting the Gorilla Glue into the crevices before I put the handle in to make sure that it will fill everything. I want to make sure that it expands enough, especially in these side channels, to fill the crevice. This isn't, again, I don't know if I said this before or not, this isn't actually my tech. Bryn from Stormhaven actually is the one who showed me this. And then I've just kind of modified it like I normally do to my own thing. Alright, now I got the Gorilla Glue in, taking the plastic or bubble wrapped
Cling wrap.
And putting it on top of said shield so that it can sit. And I will cut the video here, and when I come back I will be showing you what it looks like when it's dried.
How long does it take?
It takes about 24 hours before you actually want to mess with it. I give it about 5 hours, and then I take the books off and then let it air dry. But you want to make sure that you're not moving the handle around a lot because it can cause issues. So if you're inexperienced, just let it sit for 24 hours. Now we have, it has dried a little bit. If you can see down in the hole, it's actually expanded out from here. It's actually pretty hard now. So I'm actually going to take these off so you can kind of see. Actually, let me take the books that aren't sealed off first so you can kind of see what it looks like in the end. Most of this is going to be peeled off. It's still a little tacky, but you can peel it off to where, basically where the edge of the crevice is that I made with the Dremel earlier. But anyways, you peel all that off. And then once you get to a certain point, peel this off. Save these ones, move these over. Take this off. That one's still a little tacky.
So if it's still tacky, do you just wait till it's dry?
You can, yeah. You can remove it now while it's gooey, but it's kind of a little bit of a pain if you do, because it will get on your fingers, and then your fingers become sticky for a little while. So it's actually stuck a little bit more than I was hoping for it, but that was okay. Anyways, once I get these peeled off, it's basically a punch shield. I mean, you gotta put a layer of foam on it. This one I have to actually repair a little bit because it's damaged. It's free foam that I got, but I'm gonna put some foam in there so that it floats it back out. And same here, and just kind of strengthen it a little bit. But it's nice, lightweight. You'll be able to throw really fast blocks with it. But yeah, that's basically, I mean, I'll come back when I'm putting the actual face of it on and the back so that you don't get your hands cut up and by this stuff, because this can be a little sharp on your hands at sometimes. I'll let you pause in a minute. Okay, this is the face panel to a oval shield. It's gonna be the thing that blocks basically your hand from getting hit. I'm gonna shape this down so that when a strike comes across it, it'll, instead of hitting this and possibly pulling it, it's going to basically just roll right off of it and just keep going so that it won't peel off the shield. Basically, I'm going to be tapering it. I'm going to have my assistant turn off, or pause the video I should say, and then turn it back on once I'm done because of the sound. You're not going to be able to really hear anything or see anything. As you can tell, I've shaped this down a little bit so that it has that little bit of a edge to it so that it'll glance those blows off rather than snag them. So I'm going to take this on and dap it to my shield that I have in there, which I'm going to actually go do now. So I'm going to have to pause the video and then I'll record it once I'm gluing. So I had to fill it in with blue foam so that it would cover up the damage done to it and still give us enough foam that it's a legal shield. So now I've put the glue down for this, and then put the glue on this so that I can dab it down. I think it should be good to go, but I'm not sure. It's not incredibly hot in here. Looks like it still needs some time to set, so I'm going to put some books on it to help it stay put. Actually, hold that for a second. Try and draw this down a little bit. There we go. That way it can get some pressure on it and it can glue itself back down. Once I get done with this, I'm going to flip it over and then put foam on the back so that it Gorilla Glue doesn't hurt your hands when your hand's sitting on the shield, because Gorilla Glue can be a little rough. I'm going to pause the video now. Good.
It's recording, but it's really blurry.
Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm basically putting stuff down. I already removed all the stuff that was in these, basically. There's a tiny bit on there still.
What is it, though?
That's the Gorilla Glue. That, that is expanding. You have to. It's water activated, and it expanded into the holes, filling them. Now what I'm going to do is put some of this on here, like so. Using DAP, contact cement. Now with this, I do it in kind of two different stages. I need to know kind of where it's going to sit. Press it down. That'll give me about where the boundary of the glue is. If you look, you can kind of see the boundary of where I need to put glue now, so that I can put it on there pretty thick, and then we'll get as much glue as we possibly can into it. I'm doing this so that your hands, when you're holding the shield, if you're like holding up here or something slips, you won't jam yourself into the Gorilla Glue, because that can be a real no-no and it will end up hurting you really bad. If you don't do this, like I said, it can hurt you really bad, and then if you let somebody use your shield, they can hurt them really bad. This also protects, for some reason, if somebody steps on your board, it'll give it a little bit of cushion so that they won't be breaking down the Gorilla Glue from stepping on that side of the board. So it'll kind of cushion the glue, if that makes sense. Again, pushing down so that it gives me that outline of where I want it to glue down. And then putting a bunch of glue where it needs to go. This one should be almost dry by now, so I'm going to re-put that on there. And I'm going to set up some books on it once I get it positioned properly where I want it. That should be good, so that one's pinned down. Now this one I want to give a little bit more time so it can cure. Usually you want it to look mostly dry for tacking. If you're doing it out in the sun, it'll tack up real fast. You're basically looking for the shimmer to go away. I'm actually going to be leaving mine here for the next day or so, so it's going to have plenty of time to tack. And I'm going to be having weight on it so that it'll bond even better. Actually, I'm going to give this one a little bit of time because I put too much on there. So it needs to evaporate a little bit so that it can get that tackiness to it. And then basically once this dries, you throw a shield cover on it, and then you have a shield.